What is up, everybody? Welcome into this Monday episode of Flippin' Bats. I hope everybody had a great weekend, but there was a huge series that went down between the Atlanta Braves and the Los Angeles Dodgers. We're going to break it all down. We're going to talk all about those two teams, the MVP race between Ronald Acuña and Mookie Betts. Also, the Mariners. We'll talk about the Rangers. We have top 10 power rankings, team of the month, because it's the first Monday of this month. We got a lot to talk about today. This one's going to be a lot of fun. Let's get to it.
Fly ball onto the track, at the wall, it's gone! Home run!
Turns on a ball, deep right field, and gone!
What a game, what a moment. Happy Labor Day, everyone. I hope everybody had a great weekend. I am joined, as always, by Alex Curry. Alex, how was your weekend?
My weekend was amazing. I had a pretty legendary Saturday. We launched, it was the debut of my Fox Sports Saturday radio show. That went amazing. And it was the first time I've ever done a radio show in my life. And it happened to be mine. Like, you know, when you do different shows, there's like cues, like ins and outs, what you have to reset, how you do things. I went in so blind and it turned out really awesome. And it was great. So thank you everybody for listening. And yeah, it was awesome. And then later that night, my sister got engaged. So we surprised my whole family at my parents' house, champagne, took them out to dinner. So it was a fun, wild weekend.
That's cool.
And you, sir, you are wearing a Dodgers shirt, which I absolutely love and wish I owned that shirt. And you were at the game on Saturday.
Yeah, it's a Dodger Stadium shirt. I was there at Dodger Stadium for Saturday's game.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. It was, we're going to talk a lot about him coming up, but yeah, Ronald Acuña Jr. that night hit a ball that everybody now, I think many people have seen. And when it happened, I was sitting in the seats.
Oh, good.
And I verbally said, that is the hardest hit baseball that I have ever seen.
Yeah.
In person.
Yeah.
And that's, I've seen a lot of baseball in my life, and to look online after and see that it was 121.2 miles an hour is unbelievable. It is legitimately one of the hardest balls ever hit, ever.
Yeah. It was rad.
Yeah, it was really cool. Good game. The series was quite the series.
Yeah. Braves came in and just dominated, taking 3 of 4.
Which is crazy because the Dodgers have the better offense, like you said.
Hey, you know what?
What?
It was, we're not gonna backtrack here.
I would love to backtrack if you're willing to.
What I want to say is, like, one of these times, maybe you're going to invite me to hang out or like play golf. I'll make the cut one of these times. See you and
one of these times I'll get an invite to your concerts and everything you're going to. I didn't see an invite to Taylor Swift. Where was that invite?
It wasn't mine to invite. It's like, you can't bring that one up.
Okay.
One of these times we'll play
There's
golf.
a lot of concerts you go to.
There's
a lot of parties, a lot of concerts.
All right.
No Ben.
Okay. I'll make it happen.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll see.
Okay.
When
is
it
Beyonce still in town?
That's tonight's her last night. I'm not even going to Beyonce tonight. I've been watching everybody's stories and whatnot, but no, I know. Sadly, I'm not going to Beyonce tonight.
As many of you know, we record Monday's episode on Sunday night during the Sunday night baseball game, which is currently happening. I think it's in like the 7th inning right now. Astros, Yankees. Yankees have won the first 2 games of that series and are ahead in this one. Could be a sweep.
It might be.
After looking incredible against the Red Sox on the road, to go back home, none of that momentum carried over.
No.
Not good. The AL West is going to be wild, and we'll talk all about that today.
We will, but let's talk about the NL first and start with Overreaction Monday. And our first overreaction, ooh, I hope this is true. The Braves and Dodgers was a preview of the NLCS.
The baseball world and fans are in for an absolute treat if this is ultimately the NLCS, Braves versus the Dodgers. Now, I will say my worries about the Dodgers still hold true. I worry that they have some pitching issues. Bullpen for sure, but starters, I mean, it was to a point where we were really, is Lance Lynn the number 3 starter in the playoffs? He's been throwing pretty well since the trade. That didn't. He got lit up. He got lit up. Bobby Miller looked fantastic Sunday. I'm a big Bobby Miller fan. I think he should be one of the top 3 guys in that playoff rotation, but Kershaw's most recent start, Julio's been struggling for a couple starts in a row. So I just have concerns with this Dodgers team. Do I think they're one of the 2 best teams in the National League? Sure. But I think the gap between the Braves and everybody else is pretty wide. And it would not shock me one bit if a team like the Phillies comes in and beats whoever they play. You could tell me that the Phillies beat the Braves in the playoffs, and I wouldn't say no way. You could tell me that the Phillies beat the Dodgers, and I would completely understand. The Phillies are going to be a problem again in the playoffs. Again, this would be an awesome NLCS matchup. Those games were intense. They were really fun. And I think the baseball world is in for a treat if it happens, but I think the Phillies are going to have something to say along the line, whether it's the Braves or the Dodgers. I think that's going to be quite the series. All 3 would be an insane, whichever way it matches up, if it matches up that way for the NLCS. But in this weekend series, we had 4 of the top NL MVP candidates right now. So our next overreaction, Ronald Acuña Jr. reasserted himself as the NL MVP. Oh, yeah. Ronald Acuña Jr. even more so solidified that he is the 2023 National League MVP. I mean, he went onto the road against the next best team in the league into the house of Mookie Betts, who is his counterpart for the MVP award, and won. They both showed out. Oh, Thursday was insane. They both showed out, but Ronald ultimately stole the show, stole the series on the road in Dodger Stadium on that huge stage. Look, I think we've had the conversation that Ronald has been the spark plug for the best offense in baseball all year long. And I think this matchup, we got it. All eyes were on this series. This kind of felt like, okay, Ronald has been the heavy favorite all year long. And then all of a sudden with the month that Mookie Betts had, it was, wait, not so fast. These two are neck and neck. And then they got to face each other in a series. And it just felt like it just felt like the series to determine who was going to be MVP. And that only holds true if, like one guy could do terrible or do awesome in September, and that changes things. There's still a month left, but it just felt like that series is going to be the turning point. I mean, his season is historic. Yeah. The grand slam in game 1 to lock up home run number 30, lock up the first 30-60 season, 30 homers, 60 stolen bases in the history of baseball. He's at 63 stolen bases, which is remarkable. And I do not care what some stats say about being aggressive on the bases or really how good of a base runner is he stealing the bases. But Mookie's kind of just as, I don't care. Stolen bases are so valuable. And I will say this. Anyone referencing the advanced analytic of BSR respectfully has no idea what they're talking about and has not put on a pair of spikes. What Ronald Acuña Jr. is doing on the bases, you can't let a number dictate how valuable he is on the bases. I mean, when you have a guy on base that is a threat to run, what that does to the pitcher, right? Ronald Acuña is on base he's the spark plug for the best offense in baseball. When he gets on base, the pitcher knows he's going to run. What does that mean? More fastballs for that lineup. Slide steps, quicker to the plate, leaving balls up and out over the plate because you're not in your normal rhythm. It changes everything. And also just getting into scoring position in itself. 63 stolen bases is absolutely incredible And this really, really, really good Braves offense is made even more incredible when you have Ronald Acuña Jr. on the bases doing what he's been doing. So in this series, Ronald homered in the first 3 games of the series, stole bases in the first 2, and with all eyes on him in the biggest series of the regular season, he showed out in front of all the voters and everybody that we know is watching. And I think Ronald Acuña Jr. showed why he is this year's MVP.
Can we just talk about that Thursday game, though? The first game of the series?
Yeah, that was
because
really cool.
It was like, this is why these 2 players, Ronald Acuña Jr. and Mookie Betts, are the 2 favorites for the NL MVP. It starts with Ronald Acuña Jr. hitting his grand slam. His 30th home run of the season to get that 30-60 season you mentioned. Then Mookie Betts hits a home run that goes just over the tip
Acuña's
of
glove.
Ronald Acuña's glove. And then Mookie hits another home run. So then it's like, you got a multi-home run game, a grand slam making history game. Oh, Ronald also got married that morning and then just had the best day of his life. Like, that was such a cool, exciting game.
You know what it reminded me of? And I feel like for a few years now, we've been getting those like moments. Remember last year in Yankee Stadium, Aaron Judge robbed Shohei of a homer at Yankee Stadium. And it just felt like, man, these are the 2 MVPs matching up. What's going to happen? They both showed out.
Yeah.
But ultimately, Aaron Judge robbed that homer of Shohei. And looking back, it's like that was a pretty cool moment. And here you had Ronald hitting homers, Mookie hitting homers just over the glove of Ron. Like it was really cool
magical
to see that.
It's like, appreciate what we're getting to see right now.
Yes.
Because it is so cool.
Let's stop devaluing stolen bases. If 60 stolen bases were so easy with these new rules, more than one person would have 60 plus stolen bases.
We do want to point out, you saw the video of Freddie Freeman presenting Ronald Acuña Jr. with a base from the game on Thursday night once he made that 30-60 history. And I don't think that was the first time I've really noticed how large these bases are, because it took up Ronald Acuña Jr.'s entire torso as he was receiving the gift of the base. If you're watching right now, here it is of Freddie. And it's shoulder to his shorts.
It definitely matters.
Yes.
Right? Like stolen bases are, would he have 60 last year with those rules? No. But what he's doing this year is nobody's doing it. Nobody's ever done it. Obviously, the rules help that, but I don't like the discrediting of the stolen bases. Either, well, it's the rules, or, well, is it really mattering because he's not scoring that many more runs than Mookie Betts, so maybe he's not that good of a base runner. I don't know. But let's just appreciate what we're seeing from those 2. It's been incredible. And I think this series, I think it solidified the MVP award for Ronald Acuña unless something drastic happens in either direction.
Well, we're going to keep talking about the Braves because they are red hot right now. In our next Overreaction Monday, the Braves will have the NL MVP and the Cy Young winner.
I think the MVP award is heading to Atlanta.
Yeah.
And I think the Cy Young award is heading to San Diego. I think Blake Snell, his start on Sunday, since the beginning of June, there has not been a pitcher even close to as good as Blake Snell has been. A tough start to the year, and then it all clicked.
Right when we saw him and talked to him.
Right before. Yeah, he had like a couple good starts in a row, and we're like, hey, this is awesome. What did happened? Something change? Was it mechanics? What was it? And his first answer is just golf.
Yeah.
We're like, what?
Stop
and then he's like, no,
it.
seriously, I just stopped thinking so much about it. And ever since then, he's been fantastic. I think Blake Snell is going to be the NL Cy Young Award winner. Spencer Strider is certainly in that conversation. And I tweeted this over the weekend. Kodai Senga is in that conversation, man. He's been unbelievable. Do I think he's the leader? No. Do I think he's top 3, top 5 right now? I absolutely do.
He's not in the top 5 odds.
He should be.
Right now, you have Blake Snell at plus 110, Spencer Strider at plus 210, Zach Gallen at plus 450, Justin Steele at plus 950, and Logan Webb at plus 3,000.
Not getting the respect he deserves. You know why? That's not. Blake Snell is doing what he's doing. He's going to have to go above and beyond.
I was about to counter. I was like, you can't blame it on the team.
But you have to go above. I just think what Kodai Senga is doing, not to go down a Kodai Senga, what Kodai Senga is doing, look at his numbers. They're unbelievable. What he's doing this year, I think, is getting a little overshadowed by the Mets and then all the drama that people are trying to stir up and Max stuff, Steve Cohen, Billy Epler, and then the Pete Alonso trade stuff and the toxicity of Pete Alonso. Like, wow, we should just be appreciating what Kodai Senga is doing. Regardless, Blake Snell would be my pick for an Cy Young Award.
All right. Let's move to the American League for our next Overreaction Monday. The Rangers will miss the playoffs.
I ultimately think the Rangers will do enough to get into the playoffs.
You're going to turn this around?
But man, it ain't pretty right now.
Oh, it's bad.
It is so bad. 4-12 in their last 16. That includes the win on Sunday, the walk-off homer. Huge victory there. I just think I've been pretty disappointed with the Blue Jays this year. I think they're kind of similar right now, right? Like you have two teams that should be really good offensively. The Rangers are really good offensively. I don't think the Blue Jays ever lived up to how good I felt the offense would be this year. And I don't foresee that change. You know, like I've said this many times with the Blue Jays, the team that I'm mentioning the Blue Jays because they're right on the heels of the Rangers for that final wild card spot. And if it's not the Rangers, if the Rangers don't get in, it'll be the Blue Jays that do get in. I've said this before about that Blue Jays offense. They need Vladdy Jr. to be elite. Yeah. And he's been good. Yeah. And I don't think that makes them. I think they need elite Vladdy Jr. back. They don't have that. They haven't had that this year. The offense as a whole has underperformed a little bit, in my opinion. So I think the Rangers are good enough to get it done. Their bullpen is a nightmare. They have more blown saves than saves, which not good. If you were wondering, their next 3 series are going to be huge, Alex. They have the Houston Astros
starting today,
and then the Oakland A's. Got to take care of business there. And then the Toronto Blue Jays. And we all know how the season ends. Mariners.
They control their own destiny at this point. Yeah. Like you just got to win if you want to get in. Yeah. You win to get in. That's not that hard, right? So, that's sports.
I'm going to say,
in a nutshell,
I'm going to say that the Rangers ultimately hold on and get in. I'm a big believer in that offense. The starting pitching is good. I think they can do it.
All right. Well, let's talk about the team that jumped the Rangers for first place in the AL West. The Mariners are the AL team no one wants to face in the playoffs.
You know, I am so high on this Mariners team.
Should be.
And I don't think anybody should want to run into them. Obviously, they don't have the experience over the long haul in the playoffs. They got in last year, but it's kind of a short-lived series, though every one of those games could have gone in the other direction. Look, if you're going to ask, the Mariners are the AL team that no one wants to face. I think the team that no one wants to face would be the Astros in the playoffs. There's just something that there's a flip that switches in the playoffs for the Astros with that experience, that same core. It's the same core again. They're going to be a problem. I would say that they're the team nobody wants to play, but nobody should want to play the Mariners. Nobody. I think the Mariners are good enough to win the World Series. I really do.
I think what they have going for them is that no one knows what to expect from the Mariners in the playoffs. They just broke their 21-year playoff drought last season, and look at what they just did this last month.
Yeah, but it
could be scary.
Is a team really like undervalued when you go into a postseason series with them? Like what's the opponent going to like take them lighter because they haven't been there?
No, you know? I'm just saying, like, they've kicked it into a completely different gear this last month. Yeah. And again, who knows? They could take it to another gear once they get to the postseason. Yeah. We don't know because we haven't seen them with a lot of postseason experience. So it's like, you don't know what to expect with this team. And that's what could kind of help them.
I think the Mariners, I believe the Seattle Mariners are good enough to win the World Series this year. It would have to go through Houston at some point or another. To be the best, you got to beat the best. And the Astros are still the Astros. The Astros are going to be in the playoffs. They are going to be a problem.
But Mariners,
the Mariners are up to that. I believe the Mariners are up to that problem now. And look, my preseason prediction was Astros over the Braves in the World Series, and I will ride with that. But it would not shock me at all if the Mariners are able to beat the Astros in the playoffs. It just wouldn't. And to me, it's the rotation. Luis Castillo, George Kirby. George Kirby's been fantastic. Logan Gilbert back into the bullpen with Munoz, who's been really good. And then Julio. I mean, Julio's a star and is carrying that offense, and everybody has elevated around him because of him. And those vibes are so good. It wouldn't shock me at all. So are the Mariners the AL team no one wants to face? I would say no, but I wouldn't want to face the Mariners in October. I really wouldn't. They're good.
All right, let's keep talking some playoffs. The last NL wildcard team will be fill in the blank.
I'm going to ride with my preseason hot, bold take.
Okay.
And say that the last NL wildcard team will be the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Okay. They're in it right now.
Yeah. I mean, but that race, I mean, you have the standings up. I mean,
I do.
Yeah.
You have,
obviously Phillies, Cubs,
and then all three tied: Arizona, Miami, San Francisco.
They're all tied. Yeah.
They all have 70 wins and 67 losses.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all tied.
So it's going to be, and
the Reds.
Yeah, the Reds are what, a game? A half game?
No, they're also like all tied. They just have one more loss.
Oh, they're all
the Reds have
tied.
71 wins and 68 losses.
Yeah, okay.
So they're all, it's like a four-way. Then San Diego, 5.5 games out.
Nah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to be the D-backs. I want it. I'm not going to say. I would have said a couple months ago, or a month ago, the Reds. The Reds are just, man. It's the Reds are. The Reds have arrived, right? The future is here. They're going to be good for a long time. I don't feel it right now with this Reds team. Hunter Green did throw really well his last start, which was really good to see, and that's important for them.
Yeah.
I'm going to say the D-backs. That's my pick.
Right.
But it is a hot mess there.
That's crazy.
And they're all they're all under the radar
tie.
teams that nobody was expecting. Like, beginning of the year, every single person had 2 of the 3 wild card spots being either the Braves, Mets, and Padres or Dodgers will obviously be one of them. So 2 of the 3 were taken care of. Don't even think about anybody else.
And now 2 of those are gone.
Now they're gone.
2 of the most disappointing seasons ever.
Yeah.
All right. We got one more overreaction. Major League Baseball made the right call to keep the pitch clock for the postseason.
I wholeheartedly believe Major League Baseball made the right call here, keeping these rules in place. Look, this is what's changed baseball this year. Baseball's on a straight upward trajectory, 10% increase in attendance, which is wild, and the highest increase since 1998. Viewership is great everywhere. Baseball is just being talked about.
It's fun.
It's fun.
There's no lulls. Like, there used to be so much, like, you could get up, go get a drink, go get some food.
There's no what?
Lulls? Like a lull?
Oh, I thought you said Lowell, like Mike Lowell, but that wouldn't have made sense, which is why I said what.
Lull's a thing, right?
No, a lull is a thing.
Okay, I'm like, I don't know. I make things up. And I make sayings up all the time.
Lull.
English lessons with Ben and Alex. There would be like slow moments in a game where you could get up, go get food, get a drink, come back. You're like, oh, I don't feel like I missed anything.
No.
You don't do that. You miss everything. You'll miss a whole inning if you go and do that.
Yeah.
So it's fun. It's fast. It's efficient. It's entertaining, especially with people's attention spans these days. Needed to happen.
Anybody that thought this wouldn't happen, they used the pitch clock during the All-Star game. Yeah. I mean, if there was any time to be like, oh, you know what, we're going to throw the rules out for this game, it'd be an All-Star game. The playoffs, they will absolutely have it. And they made the right call here doing it. In a perfect world, Alex, in a perfect world, if I were in charge, I would like to expand the pitch clock 5 seconds on each side in the postseason. Okay. Maybe from 15 and 20 seconds to 20 and 25 or 20 and 30 with somebody on base in the postseason. But I get it, not doing it. But that would be in a perfect world. But absolutely the right call. Keep these rules. It's changed baseball for the better and put it on the biggest stage in baseball, which is the playoffs. Great. I'm
with you. I've loved the pitch clock from the moment they announced it before the season.
I love the pitch clock before they even announced it.
It's my favorite. All right. That wraps up Overreaction Monday. August has come and gone, so that means it is time for Team of the Month of August, Ben. It is here.
Yeah. Position by position, the best player from the entire month that was of August at every single spot on the field. So the August Team of the Month. Alex, I'm going to start with catcher. Mitch Garver of the Texas Rangers was fantastic. He had 302. He had 8 homers, 16 RBIs, and an OPS over 1,000 on the month. Mitch Garver's been great for the Rangers back there. He's my catcher.
Moving up to first base, Freddie Freeman.
Yeah, he had an incredible month. Freddie, it felt like for a stretch there, was never getting out. And you look up at the end of the month and he had 374 on the month with 4 homers, 16 RBIs, and also an OPS over 1,000. Freddie Freeman at first base.
Moving to second base. Second base. His teammate.
At sex base, I have Freddie Freeman's teammate,
I can't believe I can't
Mookie Betts. Congratulations, Mookie. Come on down. What a month for Mookie. 455, 11 homers, 30 RBIs, a 1355 OPS. A great month.
I'm sweating over here. Okay, let's move.
What base we going to now? Third. Okay.
Stop. Third base, Alex Bregman.
Yep. Bregman was great. 318, 4 homers, 21 RBIs, and a 959 OPS. Alex Bregman is Breggy Bombs. They're back. What? Still losing it over there? Alex Bregman in August. I feel like got back to the Alex Bregman that, I don't know, we all, that Astros fans know and love so much. He was great. He's my third baseman. Alex is gone.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep it in. Okay. Shortstop.
Over to shortstop. I'll take it away. My shortstop.
Bobby Witt Jr.
Bobby Witt Jr. has emerged. I think Bobby Witt has emerged as a superstar in this game. And obviously being in Kansas City with a team that is not very good this year, we're not talking about him a lot. But for the last couple of months, Bobby Witt Jr. has been the best shortstop in baseball. Corey Seager's in that conversation as well. But 324 for Bobby Witt, 9 homers, 22 RBIs, and an OPS over 1,000 on the month. And it was very close. The shortstop position was very close between him and Corey Seager this month.
All right, let's move to the outfield. Now, remember, these are just the top 3 outfielders, not by position. And it's Ben's best of the month, starting with Kerry Carpenter.
Yeah, Kerry Carpenter, Detroit Tigers, 347 with 9 homers, 20 RBIs, and an OPS over 1,000 on the month. I think Kerry Carpenter, look, the conversation for a while with Kerry Carpenter was, is this real? Like, is this a guy for us now? And I think we can confidently say that the answer to that is yes. I really do. He's got his OPS is around 900 on the season. He's got a bunch of at bats. He's on my team of the month for August. Huge honor. And he's my first of 3 outfielders.
Your second of 3, Julio Rodriguez. Julio.
What a month. 429, 7 home runs, 30 RBIs, and a 1,200 OPS. He had one of the best months that we've seen. I mean, it was a historic month. 17 hits in a 4-game stretch. 17 hits
History.
in 4 games.
History.
I hardly got 17 hits in my 5-year career.
Yikes.
No, I'm just kidding,
Okay.
Alex. Wow, she believed that. 17 hits in a month is a lot of hits. He got 17 hits in 4 days.
Yeah.
Which is wild. So Julio Rodriguez, really, this is the month for him. It turned around for the Mariners. Everything turned around for the Mariners this month. And Julio Rodriguez is the leader of that clubhouse. He is my second of 3 outfielders.
Speaking of leaders, your third outfielder, the leader of the NL MVP race right now, Ronald Acuña Jr.
Yeah, 352 on the month, 6 homers, 22 RBIs, and a 1,000 OPS on the month. Again, these are basically his season. His season numbers at this point are ridiculous, like player of the month type stats. That's just how good he's been. These numbers don't even count. Maybe the Thursday game was at the end of August. Did the Thursday game count? The Thursday game was the last one that does count, but his next couple of homers were in September.
Slam.
He's already off to a great start in September. But of course, Ronald Acuña Jr., current front runner for MVP, absolutely on this team.
All right. Designated hitter. He also finally, I think, arrived and found his swing after coming off the IL. Bryce Harper.
Exactly. Remember, he didn't take a rehab stint. He was coming off the Tommy John. Like
It's a big deal.
What he's done since he's returned. Yeah, it started a little slower. Not even that slow, just not Bryce Harper.
Yeah.
This is Bryce Harper. 361 on the month, 10 homers on the month, and an OPS of 1236. Bryce Harper is back. He is mashing, and he's also
an insane first base,
playing a good bit of first base.
I was
he's actually been really good over there. Like, I've been really impressed with Bryce Harper at first base. Offensively, he's back. So, he is my DH on this month's team of the month.
All right, your starting pitcher of the month, Cole Ragans.
Cole Ragans of the Kansas City Royals. I don't think a lot of people would know this name. And he was AL pitcher of the month.
Yeah.
He went 3-1. He struck out 53 batters in 36 2/3 innings with a 1.72 ERA. We all talk about how good and nasty and dominant Spencer Strider is, right? And his crazy strikeout rate. Cole Ragans had a better strikeout rate than Spencer Strider did in the month of August. In 5 of his 6 starts, he threw 6+ innings pitched with less than 3 earned runs, 8 or more Ks. The month that he had was incredible. I think he's really shown that he is going to be a force in this league. And hopefully, there's a couple Royals on here. Hopefully the Royals can get back to relevance, and we're seeing Bobby Witt and Cole Ragans be stars in the league. He's my pitcher. Starting pitcher.
Rounding out your team of the month, closing pitcher, Raisel Iglesias.
Yeah, Raisel Iglesias was perfect on the month. 7 saves, 17 strikeouts, 13 innings pitched, and not a single earned run given up. Only 4 walks in the entire month. Only 7 hits given up in the entire month. And he rounds out my team of the month. We went all around from catcher to sex base to the outfield to DH to the pitchers. That rounds out my team of the month. But Alex, pull it together because it is player of the month time.
I finally just got it together.
And we will each have a player of the month. I don't know yours, but I would imagine they might be the same. My player of the month is Mookie Betts. One of the best months in the history of baseball. 455, 11 homers, 30 RBIs on the month, led baseball in pretty much every single offensive category in the month of August, and has really just forced himself to the top of the NL MVP race right there now with Ronald Acuña, who was the heavy favorite. And it's not because Ronald Acuña Jr. slowed down.
No.
It's because Mookie Betts did this in the month of August. He's absolutely my player of the month. And I'm to do this.
Yeah. Go.
Do this in a month that Julio had.
Yeah.
Like Julio any other month would be deserving of a player of the month, but with what Mookie did for me, it had to be him. What are you laughing about over there?
Nothing. Same. How can you not pick Mookie Betts for player of the month? He literally had the best offensive month in the league. He played himself into this MVP conversation. He was my player of the week the last 2 weeks. So I'm just, keeping the trend alive. And as you mentioned, he led the league in batting average with runners in scoring position, on base percentage, slugging, OPS, runs, hits, home runs, extra base hits, total bases.
Pretty good.
He was the best. He was the best, and he is both of our player of the month.
All right. That does it for our team of the month of August and player of the month for August. All right, Alex, we are up here now to finish this episode with some brand new and improved top 10 Major League Baseball power rankings.
But how new are they? We've only got a couple of movements.
Yeah, not a ton of changes this week.
Not a ton. We only got 2 changes this week, and it starts at number 10, down 1 spot, the Rangers.
Yeah, the Rangers were on the cusp of, if the Rangers didn't win on Sunday, they might have just gotten the boot for a week. Like maybe they needed a little reset. Maybe they were feeling the pressure of being in my power rankings every week this year.
Definitely
needed a reset,
all about you.
And that would help them. So they did win Sunday. I still believe in this Rangers team. Good starters, really good offense, bullpen, a lot of question marks, but I did have to bump them down. We've just seen them lose so much ground in the division for the last month, and they lost some more ground this week. They went from leading the division to now behind the Astros and the Mariners at the top of the division. So Rangers got bumped down to 10.
And at number 9, getting bumped up 1 spot, the Cubs.
Yeah, Cubbies here at number 9. Again, it's not really so much about what they did. It's about the Rangers doing more to go down, which is going to be a theme of this week's power rankings, Alex. Like nobody really, nobody was great. Nobody was awful.
Yeah.
This is definitely the week with the least amount of movement in the power rankings.
Those are the only 2 movements. So let's get to number 8, the Rays.
Number 8 is the Rays. They're 83 and 54. Still a really good record. Still have a good grasp on that top wild card spot. They've been definitely playing better, but had lost a couple in a row heading into Sunday, won that game. So no movement for them. They're at 8.
Number 7, the Astros.
Yeah, the Astros week was interesting. I was fully prepared to move them up after the Red Sox series where they looked better than they have all year long. We talked about it. Like, this is the best. The Astros have arrived, right? Like, this is full.
They're back.
They went
Everyone's
into
healthy.
Boston, scored like 1 million runs in that series. They pitched well. They're back. They're healthy. Brantley back. And then they go and get swept by the Yankees. And look, as you know, we record Sunday night. That game is in the top of the 9th. So I would have bumped them up to maybe 6 had they not gotten swept here. But I'm going to keep them the same. And if somehow the Astros have some crazy comeback in the bottom of the 9th, when tomorrow's power rankings come up, you might see that come out. Or when today's ultimately come out, you might see this switch. But I'm imagining they're about to lose this game in 3 more outs. And a sweep to the Yankees. You sweep the Red Sox and you get swept by the Yankees in the same week.
You stay the same.
A lot of confusion. You're just going to stay. I don't know. Stay.
Stay.
Yeah.
Everyone's staying. Even number 6, Phillies.
Yeah. Number 6 is the Phillies, 75 and 61. I've talked about them a lot. I'm a big believer. I feel about the Phillies in the NL like I feel about the Mariners in the AL. That's the comparison to me. Now, completely different.
Yep.
Completely different teams. But that's kind of the, like, you point to the superstar. You point to the bigger teams in each league. Braves, Dodgers. In the American League, I think, the Mariners right now are leading the division, but like Astros, Orioles this year, the teams, like the really good teams. And I just feel like the Mariners are a team that's going to get in and that's going to be slept on. And I feel the same way about the Phillies. I'm really high on them, and I think they're good. They're here at 6.
All right, let's move into your top 5, which is the same as last week. Starting with number 5, the Brewers.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
They had a fine week. 76
Everything's fine.
and 60. They're still at the top of the NL Central. Did have a big series win against the Cubbies, but Yeah, they're here at number 5 still.
Number 4, the Mariners.
Yeah, Mariners 77-59, still currently leading the division despite losing the series to the Mets. This was probably the most difficult power rankings that I've ever had to do, because you had the framework of last week's, and then you look of like, okay, who deserves to move up?
Yeah.
Who deserves to move down? And if you move somebody down, somebody has to move up, right? But nobody was deserving of moving up. And I don't think all the NL wildcard teams that we talked about, like, that aren't on this list, the Reds, the D-backs, the Giants, the Marlins, they've all been playing poorly.
Yeah.
So it's like, who's going to move in? Nobody. Who's going to move down? Well, that means you have to move somebody up. And Mariners didn't have a great week, and they stayed put.
Yep. So did the Dodgers at number 3.
Been pretty, not just with our conversation the other day, but a lot of people have been having the Dodgers at 2. I've stuck with them at 3 and was prepared at any moment to move them up. This series that we saw this weekend could have been the big one to
2 weeks
move
ago
up.
is when they should have been up.
They lost the series.
This is okay now.
Should they have, though?
Yeah.
Why?
Because they were having the best month at that point in baseball.
Yeah, the Orioles didn't give up any ground there. The Orioles continued to play well. I just kept them all where they were. And I'm not going to move the Dodgers down this week after getting obliterated by the Atlanta Braves. I won't do it.
All right, number 2, the Orioles.
Yeah, Orioles here at number 2, 85-51. The O's are just so much fun. I have so much fun watching the Baltimore Orioles. They're very good. Another pretty good week. That's the theme of this week's power rankings. They're here at number 2.
And number 1, best team in baseball, the Braves.
If you could move up from 1, that would be the biggest move of the week. The Braves are up from number 1 to really, really number 1. That's where they move. A++. Yeah. They are the first team in baseball to 90 wins, 90-46. They are very clearly the best team in baseball. I've been saying for months at this point, and I think this past series exemplified how big that gap is.
Yep.
I think we learned that there is a big gap right now between the Atlanta Braves and everybody else. And what does that mean come playoff time? Absolutely nothing.
Because anything can happen in the playoffs.
Because anything can happen in the playoffs. But the Braves are very clearly the best team in baseball. And they round out this week's top 10 Major League Baseball power rankings that did not have a ton of movement. Rangers moved down 1. Cubbies moved up 1 to just flip places there.
Yeah.
And everything else stayed the same.
And that's our Monday show.
And that's our Monday show.
Happy Labor Day.
Happy Labor Day,
with us.
everyone. We will see you tomorrow for our Tuesday episode. Thank you all for listening. Make sure you're subscribed wherever you listen to your podcast, Apple, Spotify, wherever. We're also on all social media, including YouTube, where you can watch everything we do at Flippin' Bats Pod for all of those. But for this Monday episode, I hope everybody enjoys the rest of your Labor Day. This one has been a lot of fun. Until tomorrow, guys, this has been another episode of Flippin' Bats. Peace.